let me give you one reason to read every single Stephen King book. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Dave Musson and this is the place where I talk to you about all things Stephen King. I also have a book club where I recommend horror books that are not written by Stephen King, and I sometimes talk about horror films in my Silver Scream section. But this is a Stephen King video. This is this month's book special. It's the final book special of 2025 and it's going to be quite an epic one. So if you've been to this channel before, chances are you may well have seen that the first thing I ever did on this channel was go through all of the books of Stephen King and give you 19 reasons to read each one. 19 because that's a significant number in the world of Stephen King, and just thought it'd be a fun thing to do. I've done all of his books. You can check out the full list. Well, I technically haven't done 19 reasons to do Never Flinch yet. I have reviewed Never Flinch, but we'll get on to 19 reasons to read that. But the full playlist is there. However, I thought as a bit of a fun book special to round off the year, I would distill it down to a rapid fire run through the entire bibliography of Stephen King and give you one reason to read each one. So we've got 83 books to get through, hence it being rapid fire. So I'm not going to linger too long on these reasons. I may even just be like, bosh, here's the book, here's the thing, and we'll just go through it. But I hope you enjoy it. Let me know what you think in the comments. And if there's a reason for perhaps your favourite book that I give that you strongly disagree with, let me know your reason in the comments. Now, I've tried to keep this as spoiler free as possible. Like, there's a couple where I've said the ending, but I've not said what the ending is. So I think I'm safe in labelling this as spoiler free. But just tread carefully. I will start each one with the title of the book, so if you don't want to hear that, just put your fingers in your ears and it will be gone in a few seconds. And if you're giving me different reasons in the comments, please keep those spoiler free as well, so we don't ruin anyone's fun. But otherwise, let's do it, shall we? Here is one reason to read every single Stephen King book. Just having a sip of tea from my ghost mug to warm my throat up before this epic challenge. Now, I have actually made notes and I'm going to pull them from my document as we go, just because it's going to be easier. Oh, delicious. So let's see how long it takes to go through 83 books. So, one reason to read each Stephen King book. Let's go. Boom. Carrie from 1974. It's the prom. Obviously, it's the prom. One of the most iconic scenes in horror, full stop. Salem's Lot from 1975. Was tempted to talk about the boy at the window, but actually, for me, it's the way the town is built. It's King building a small town for the first time and absolutely nailing it. You will be sucked in. The Shining, 1977. Like, there is terror throughout this one, but for me, it's the wasp nest. If you know, you know. Rage, 1977, one of the Bachman books. For me, it's just the intrigue. Like, what's the mystery about this book? Why did Stephen King himself pull it from the shelves? And what sort of thing did he write as an angry teenager? Night Shift, 1978, first collection of short stories. Just the fact that it's so snackable and they're all so good. You'll have a great time. It's a great place to start with Stephen King as well. The Stand, 1978/1990. For me, it's like the opening 200 pages. The world ending. I mean, of course, who else do you want to see writing the world ending but Stephen King? The Long Walk, 1979, the second Richard Bachman book. It's just the agony of it. The sheer agony. The way he writes those characters who are willingly going to their deaths. And we're with them the whole way. It's just powerful. The Dead Zone, 1979, my all-time favourite Stephen King book. Difficult to distill this to one reason. The one I've gone for is the fact that it is Stephen King blending his genres for the first time, really. We've got horror, we've got sci-fi, we've got political thriller, we've got romance. It's all there. We've got drama as well, and it is fantastic. I mean, some more tea to celebrate the end of the first decade. How do you take your tea? Let me know in the comments. Don't go telling me about coffee. Don't do coffee. It's disgusting. But tea, how do you have it? Personally, strong, oat milk, no caffeine after midday. And hot, obviously hot. Then my granddad does drink his tea cold. Kind of weird, isn't it? He also lets his Weetabix go really soggy before he eats it. Why am I telling you this? Let's go on to the 1980s. Firestarter, 1980. It's the scene at the Manders farm. The incident at the Manders farm. Yes, very good. Roadwork from 1981, another Richard Bachman book. You should read this one because you just shouldn't believe the haters. Myself included. My 19 reasons to read this was not very complimentary, but if you check out my reread, you'll realise that actually it's a lot better than I remembered. Dance Macabre from 1981, his non-fiction look at the horror genre. Just read it because it's fascinating. Cujo from 1981, the first Stephen King book I ever read. Read it for the jizzing scene. And again, if you know, you know. The Running Man from 1982, another Richard Bachman book. This one is set in 2025, so just read it and compare it to real life 2025 and see how not that different it is. The Dark Tower, first book, The Gunslinger, 1982/2003. Read it because it's the start of an epic. Different Seasons, 1982. 4 novellas collected together. The collection that gave us Shawshank and that gave us the story that became Stand By Me. Just read it because it's wonderful. Christine, 1983. The Evil Car. Read it because it is a popcorn novel that you will fly through. Cycle of the Werewolf from 1983. There's a weird novella that started life as a calendar and spun out into something longer. Read it for the illustrations, particularly the stupid, sexy werewolf butt. Pet Sematary, 1983. Read it for the horror, the sheer horror. It's his scariest book. It scared him so much he wouldn't publish it for a number of years. So, yeah, get on it. The Eyes of the Dragon, 1984. Read it for some Randall Flagg backstory, and I know that's technically 2 reasons, but what are you going to do? Also, it's a very cool dad move, writing a book for your daughter that eventually you put out there to the world and sell millions of copies of. Not bad. The Talisman from 1984, which he wrote with Peter Straub. Read it for the character Wolf. He's about the only redeeming feature of that book. Thinner from 1984. Also by Richard Bachman, the final Bachman book before the world learnt who Richard Bachman actually was. Read it because it's campy and it's pulpy and it's super fun. Skeleton Crew from 1985, the year some truly great people were born. Another short story collection. You want to read this one because this collection has The Mist, The Jaunt and The Raft all in the same place. And they are bangers. It from 1986. I mean, like, the holy trinity of Pennywise, The Losers Club, and Derry Main. Like, yes, give me that, please. The Dark Tower Book 2, The Drawing of the Three from 1987. Read this one because this is where this series really finds its legs and really gets moving. Misery from 1987. Read it for Annie Wilkes. You'll become her number 1 fan. As long as she's not your number 1 fan, that is absolutely fine. The Tommyknockers from 1987. Busy year for King in 1987. Read it to be inspired about what you can do with batteries. The Dark Half, 1989. That's the last time that there's been a gap. There's been a year where Stephen King didn't publish something. I mean, technically he put Nightmares in the Sky out where he wrote an essay for a book of photos of goblins on buildings. And that one's worth reading because the pictures are cool and the essay is interesting. But yeah, he's not done a fallow year since 1988. Pretty impressive. Anyway, The Dark Half, 1989. Read it for George Stark, who is not a very nice guy. Oh, we finished another decade. I can have some more tea. Are you a fan of biscuits with your tea? In my day job, we get served tea and biscuits every morning. I'm not going to lie. It's fucking dreamy. So, 1990s, 4 Past Midnight from 1990. Another collection of 4 novellas that I'm going to admit is not great, but Secret Garden, Secret Window, or Secret Window, Secret Garden, I can never remember which way around that goes. That story is kind of fun. The Dark Tower Book 3, The Wastelands from 1991. This is getting the band together in the Dark Tower story, and it's great. Needful Things from 1991. Read it because it's the best Castle Rock story, and it's bonkers. Gerald's Game from 1992. Read it for that scene. Yes, the scene that has the word glove in it. Dolores Claiborne, also from 1992. A sort of twinner of Gerald's Game. Read it because of its really, really compelling first-person narrative. Nightmares and Dreamscapes from 1993, another short story collection. Read it so you get better at finding diamonds in the rough, because there's some good stuff there. There's also some not good stuff there. Insomnia from 1994. Read it because it is underrated as heck. Rose Madder from 1995. Read it for the relentless monster that is Norman Daniels. The Green Mile from 1996, which he first released in installments, you'll remember. A little serialised novel like Dickens used to do. Read it because it is so damn heartbreaking. Desperation, also from 1996. Read it for the size and the scope of the story that's going on. The Regulators, also from 1996, a twinner of Desperation, but this one is by Richard Bachman. Just read it for the bonkersness of it. The Dark Tower Book 4, Wizard and Glass from 1997. Read it because it is one heck of a sweeping romance novel. I mean, it's not a romance novel, that's not accurate. It's one heck of a sweeping novel that has a great romance in it, but also some pretty bleak stuff. Bag of Bones from 1998. Read it if you want to see what a really horny boomer was writing about in the late 90s. It is good, I've undersold it there, but it is also super horny. The Girl Who Loved Tom Gordon from 1999. Read it because it's Stephen King doing survival horror, with a small child as the protagonist. Hearts in Atlantis from 1999. Read it because it is just beautiful writing. And Storm of the Century, also from 1999, which is available as a screenplay and script from the miniseries. Read it because it's his best novel that isn't a novel. And that's another decade done. Excellent. I finished my tea now, and we've still got a long way to go. We're up to number 44 out of 83. You having fun? On Writing from 2000. Read it for the golden advice for anyone with the slightest bit of interest in writing. Dreamcatcher from 2001. Read it for the first half of that story, because the friendships and the aliens and the shit weasels are all pretty damn good. Black House, also from 2001, with Peter Straub. Read it for the fisherman, the baddie in that. Pretty gross. Everything's Eventual from 2002, another collection of short stories. Read it because it's a collection with no duds, at least in my opinion. From a Buick 8 from 2002. Read it so you learn to be satisfied without having all the answers, but still enjoying a great story. The Dark Tower Book 5, Wolves of the Calla from 2003. Read it because, wait a minute, Father Who? The Dark Tower Book 6, Song of Susanna from 2004. Read it for the pace. You just move through that at speed. The Dark Tower Book 7, The Dark Tower from 2004. Read it for the epic conclusion of the epic saga. Faithful from 2004, which he wrote with Stuart O'Nan. It's a non-fiction book chronicling the Boston Red Sox World Series winning season. It's not very good. Read it because you are a Stephen King completist. The Colorado Kid from 2005. Read it just because it's a really cracking story. Cell from 2006. Read it for the opening 30 pages. Like the dog and his ear. Yeah. Lisey's Story from 2006. Read it because it's a fascinating portrait of a marriage. Blaze from 2007 by Richard Bachman. Read it because this is King or Bachman doing Of Mice and Men. Do McKee from 2008. Read it because this one is super creepy, super fascinating, and incredibly underrated and sort of unknown. Just After Sunset from 2008, another short story collection. My arms are hurting from holding this laptop. Read it because it's another grouping of just more banging short stories. Under the Dome from 2009. Read it for the scope and the scale of it and the fact that it feels like a long-lost cocaine era book. And that's another decade done. I'm going to give my shoulder a rest and swap arms. Right. Full Dark No Stars from 2010. Read it because it is 4 nasty novellas, and I mean that in a very complimentary way. 11/22/63 from 2011. Read it because it's one of the best books you will ever read in your life. The Dark Tower in-between book, The Wind Through the Keyhole from 2012. Read it because of the Russian doll structure, the story within a story within a story. It's very evocative and compelling. And I've just used the word evocative because I saw it on my list for the next one, and now I'm going to sound like a fool, but whatever. Joyland 2013. It is highly evocative and a great mystery as well. Dr. Sleep from 2013. Read it because this is the sequel to The Shining, and he nailed it as a sequel, like 40 years later. Mr. Mercedes from 2014. Read it for the opening massacre. My God, one of the best openings to a book ever. Revival from 2014. At the other end of the scale, read it for the ending. One of the bleakest and most harrowing endings you will ever read. Finders Keepers from 2015. Read it because it is a fantastic story that is kind of hindered by being part of the Bill Hodges, Holly Gibney-verse, but there's still a lot to enjoy in there. The Bazaar of Bad Dreams 2015. Another collection of short stories. Read it just to get over yourself, and again, avoiding the haters because it's really fun. End of Watch from 2016. Read it because Brady's back, baby. Gwendy's Button Box from 2017, which he wrote with Richard Chismar. Read it because it is breezy as anything. Sleeping Beauties from 2017, which he wrote with his son Owen King. Read it because this one has black characters who are actually quite well drawn, which is a rarity in Stephen King's work. The Outsider from 2018. Read it for the first half because it is so my God, there are some brutal scenes there. Flight or Fright from 2018, a collection of short stories about terror in the skies, which he co-edited with Bev Vincent, who has been on this channel. Read it because it's loads of fun. Elevation from 2018. Read it because it is, uplifting. The Institute from 2019. Read it for the character Avery. And that is another decade done. We're finally up to this decade. We're up to number 76 of 83. We're nearly there, folks. If It Bleeds from 2020. Read it. Another collection of novellas. Read it because all 4 are cracking little stories. Later from 2021. Read it because you can read it in one sitting. And you will want to when you get to a certain part that links to a certain other Stephen King book that will make you go, what? Billy Summers from 2021. Read it because this story is massively slept on, but is actually truly excellent. Gwendy's Final Task, which he also wrote with Richard Chismar from 2022. Read it because it's set in space. Fairy Tale from 2022. At the time of recording, my least favourite Stephen King book. Read it for the old man, young kid relationship at the start. Holly from 2023. Read it not only for what the villains do, but who the villains are. You Like It Darker from 2024. Another collection of short stories. Read it because every single story is fantastic. And finally, Never Flinch from this year, from 2025. Read it partly for the villains because they're fun, but also to see what happens when a joke goes too far. That joke being Holly Gibney, still being a going concern. So there you go. One reason to read every Stephen King book in not a horrendous amount of time. I feel like that was pretty breezy and good. I finished my tea. We're all done here. So let me know what you think in the comments. Hope you had fun with that. Thank you for watching, as ever. Going to throw a few quick plugs at you right now. Everything I want to plug is linked below. Those things are my collection of short stories, Once More Around the Sun, my Stephen King trivia book, my range of Stephen King themed band shirts. This isn't one of them, but this is pretty cool. My Jack Torrance t-shirt. But also the fact that you can become a member of this channel, support me directly, get extra content, all of that kind of stuff. If none of those work for you, no problem. Just watching these videos makes a huge difference. Subscribe if you haven't done so already. Tell a friend. And hey, that's all the book specials done for this year. If you've got ideas for more book specials next year, 2026, drop them in the comments. I am very open to ideas and, frankly, looking for some. So get involved. Let me know your book special ideas and I will try and make as many of them happen as possible. But otherwise, thanks for watching throughout 2025. There's still a couple of things coming up on the channel before the end of the year, but we're kind of winding down. So thanks as ever for your support. Take care, and I will see you very soon.